The Combine is in the books, but that doesn't mean we're done talking about it. Here are my top 5 guys that saw their stock rise for the New York Jets. Jets, Jets! Welcome in, my name's Ryan, I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back, I love having you here. Boys and girls, I go live every Monday at 8 o'clock for my live call-in show. This past week I had Jets X Factor's Joe Blewett on, breaking down the Combine with me. We had about 2 hours worth of conversation. I linked all the timestamps in the first comment of that, so I'll link that up above if you do want to check that out. And then Tuesday, we have our Talking Jets panel, myself, O'Leary, and Greenbean. And this week, special guest Ali from Loyal NY Jet fans, so make sure you check that out. We're going to be talking Combine. We're going to be talking free agency coming up, all these franchise tags that are going on. Whew. Lots of stuff to get into. But let's jump into our topic of today, and we're going back to the Combine. I know we did a bunch of breakdown for each individual day, but I want to talk about my 5 guys that saw their stock increase for the New York Jets. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's players that we are looking to draft, but things that might help us with our draft. So keep that in mind. At number 5, Garrett Wilson is going to be my number 5 right here. He ran a 4.38 40-yard dash, had a broad jump of 10 feet 3 inches and a vertical of 36 inches in a wide receiver class that is generally considered deep, but not overly top-heavy. Garrett Wilson appears to have set himself apart from the field. Drake London did not have the opportunity to run a 40-yard dash at the Combine. He is going to do that at his pro day at USC. So that's really going to be a big swing point. If he can run in like the 4.5s, then I think his stock's going to really shoot up. But Garrett Wilson really set himself apart from the field. And I really like this. I mean, I don't know if I want to go receiver at 10. It's going to depend on what happens in free agency. But this guy has elite body control. The way he was making catches and just twisting his body and landing 2 feet in bounds was just really impressive. So I like this. I think that makes a lot of sense if the Jets want to go that route at number 10. He may not even make it to 10 at this point. With Calvin Ridley getting suspended for the year for gambling, there's no guarantee he's going to make it to pick number 10. I mean, he might go at number 8 to the Falcons. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Browns probably were hoping he would make it to them at 12, but I just don't know if I see that happening. At number 4, we're going to stick on the offensive side of the ball, and this wide receiver is someone that Jet fans wanted to try and target in like the 3rd, 4th round, and there is no way that is happening now, and that's Christian Watson. This guy ran a 4.36, had an 11.4 broad jump, and a 38.5-inch vertical. Guy's insanely athletic. Just destroyed the Combine. He is someone, if you want him, you're going to have to take at either 35 or 38. Now, when I'm looking at kind of how this draft is breaking down, I would say I'm okay with that. And the second round seems to be the sweet spot where a lot of these good wide receivers have been taken kind of in the past and where some guys may wind up falling. I think the value at receiver at 35 and 38 is better than the value of receiver at 10 in a defensive-heavy draft. So just my thoughts on that. At number 3, offensive side of the ball, again, this one's going to quarterback Malik Willis. And of course, I don't expect the Jets to draft a quarterback, at least not one that would be competing with Zach Wilson, really. But Malik Willis measured in at 6'1.5", 219 pounds, had 9.5-inch hands. So he check-marked all those boxes. He interviewed really well, and he was throwing bombs at the Combine. So while it's not a Jets player that's going to be drafted, but this is a player that could impact us as far as trading down. The Steelers at 20 have been rumored to like Willis. The Lions, the Washington football team, or the Commanders, whatever they're called now, these teams are going to be looking to try and get their answer at quarterback. And the Jets holding that number 10 overall pick is a really, really important trade chip because you can get a haul of picks if a team or multiple teams want to come up for a quarterback. If I could slide back to 20 and pick up a first next year from Pittsburgh, that's probably what I'm looking to do at number 10. But it's going to be interesting to see nonetheless. But this is really good news for the New York Jets. At number 2, I'm going to do a little bit of a cop-out. So it's not really a top 5. It's more of a top 6. But I'm going to give you 2 guys right here. This is on the defensive side of the ball. And that's Travon Walker and Jermaine Johnson II. Both these guys tested out of their minds. Walker, 4.51, 40-yard dash, 10'3" broad jump, 35.5-inch vertical leap. And then Jermaine Johnson, 4.58, 10-foot, 5-inch broad jump, and a 32-inch vertical. These guys have probably put themselves in the conversation of a top 10 pick. I know Walker's screaming up boards. It would not surprise me at this point, watching the way that Daniel Jeremiah had him mocked to the Giants at number 5. It wouldn't shock me if you wind up seeing Walker go ahead of Kayvon, just because you got to see all these different measurables and the tape backs it up. So I really like Walker. I really like Jermaine Johnson. I would say I would take either one of those two guys at 10. Like, I've almost switched my thought process with what I'd want to do. Edge is very important, and I think you have to come away with edge in the top 2. But I don't know if it's necessarily a number 4 overall pick at this point. And that leads me into my number 1 player who saw his stock rise for the New York Jets, and that is one Ahmad Sauce Gardner. And you might be thinking, hey, Sauce was a lot of people's number 1 cornerback this year because he didn't allow a touchdown through his entire college career. Derek Stingley Jr. is always hurt. Like, this makes sense. Well, yes, but he tested well. The metrics are there. The 6'3", 190 pounds. Like, he checks those boxes. That's what you wanted to see. And then he put it on tape with the 4.4 140. This guy's elite, fast. He will just manhandle guys. He's great in press man. I think that if the Jets want Sauce Gardner, I don't think you can wait until number 10 based on the way he interviewed and the way he performed at the Combine and the way he performed in college. I think he is absolutely, absolutely worthy of a top 5 selection, and I would go so far as to say I would absolutely take him at number 4. With that number 4 pick, there's a really good shot that Kayvon Thibodeau is there, and we're going to have this weird discussion throughout the course of the offseason, but you need to make a determination. What do you want to tell the rest of your roster? When you pick someone at the number 4 pick, you are telling your entire team, this is the type of player that we want. We could pick there's 400 people possibly getting drafted, or not drafted, but 400 players eligible in this draft, and this guy is one of the top 4 guys in the country because of his athleticism, because of his personality. And if you take someone like a Kayvon Thibodeau, who you're not quite so sure on the personality front, might be more about his brand than he is the game, I think you're setting yourself up for a little bit more of a disappointment going forward. I think that sort of throws a weird dynamic into the locker room. With Sauce, you don't have any of those concerns. He is absolutely all about football. The guy doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink, even after winning a championship. I really like the guy. I'll be honest, the guy stays late signing autographs. He just seems like he's checking all the boxes. And when I think personality-wise, this is the guy I want to represent the New York Jets, and I want to root for Sauce Gardner. So if I want a nice cornerback room, have Bryce Hall move over to cornerback 2, you bring in Sauce Gardner, you cover every starting wide receiver in Sauce, and then you take him down and score some points on the offensive side of the ball because we're finally stopping people on 3rd down. So guys, let me know your thoughts of my top 5. Let me know your top 5 down below in the comments. And as always, go Jets.